Welcome, Chosen One. Take a deep breath and center yourself, because what we are about to discuss is the confirmation your spirit has been waiting for. You've noticed a change, haven't you? A subtle but undeniable shift in the way your adversaries behave around you. The bold swagger has been replaced by a hesitant shuffle. The piercing, arrogant stare now struggles to meet your gaze. There's a new energy in the room when you walk in, an energy of panic. You can feel it. It's a low-frequency hum of fear emanating from those who once sought to dominate you. This isn't your imagination. This is the spiritual reality of your new season. They are afraid to get close to you, not because of anything you've said or done, but because of what they have seen. God, in His infinite power, has placed an irremovable, undeniable mark upon your soul, a spiritual signature of divine authority and ownership. And to the forces of darkness, this mark is as bright and as terrifying as the sun. They can no longer approach you with the same arrogant impunity. Their panic is real, and it is the ultimate proof of your anointing. Today, we break down exactly what they see when they look at you now. Before, they saw you as public domain. They believed your energy, your time, and your peace were resources available for them to plunder. In their spiritual arrogance, they saw you as unclaimed territory, a soul they could colonize with their chaos, doubt, and manipulation. They approached you with a sense of entitlement, believing they had the right to enter your life and wreak havoc simply because no one had stopped them before. They saw you as vulnerable, open, and most importantly, unprotected. But the shift occurred when God officially sealed your deed. The mark you now carry is a seal of divine ownership. It is a spiritual brand that blazes in the unseen realm, declaring to all principalities and powers, "This one is mine." It is the eternal signature of the Most High, and it serves as an unbreakable, non-negotiable spiritual contract. What they see now, when they look at you, is not just a person. They see the property of the King of Kings. Their panic sets in when they realize they no longer have jurisdiction. Trying to interfere with you now is not just an attack on a person. It is an act of cosmic treason. It is like a petty thief trying to break into a federal reserve that is guarded by the entire heavenly host. The spiritual laws are clear. They cannot touch what does not belong to them. Their fear is the dawning horror that you are no longer a target of opportunity, but a protected asset of the most powerful force in the universe. They are afraid to get close because they know that to trespass against you is to invite the full wrath of your owner. Your aura became a wall of holy fire. There was a time, Chosen One, when your aura was likely gentle, inviting, and perhaps too permeable. As an empath, your energy was naturally welcoming, a soft place for others to land. Your adversaries exploited this. They could easily get close, breach your energetic defenses, and plant their seeds of toxicity directly into your spirit. They thrived in your proximity because your gentle energy offered no resistance to their darkness. But the trials you endured were not just for your learning, they were for your forging. God used that fire not to consume you, but to infuse you. Your aura, once a gentle mist, has now been sanctified and ignited with holy fire. It has become a living, breathing, defensive perimeter, a spiritual wall of fire that automatically repels anything unholy. This isn't something you have to consciously activate. It is now a permanent feature of your spiritual anatomy. So have you noticed them flinch? Have you seen them physically recoil if they get too close, as if they touched a hot stove? That is not your imagination. When their impure intentions, their demonic attachments, and their manipulative energy approach you, they come into contact with this purifying fire. It causes them immense spiritual discomfort, which often translates into physical agitation and anxiety. Their panic is the instinctual reaction of darkness to a consuming light. They are afraid to get close because your very presence has become a purifying flame, and their spirit cannot stand the burn. They once weaponized your silence and theirs. When they went silent, you panicked. When you were silent, they saw it as submission or weakness. Your silence was a canvas onto which they could project their own narratives, assuming you were scared, confused, or defeated. They were comfortable with your silence because they believed they controlled its meaning. But God has anointed your stillness. The mark on your soul has changed the very frequency of your silence. Now, when you choose not to respond to their bait, when you meet their chaos with a calm and steady gaze, your silence is no longer empty. It is filled with the weight of divine authority. They don't just feel ignored. In the spirit, they feel judged. Your quiet confidence is no longer passive. It is a verdict. Your refusal to engage in their drama is a spiritual declaration that their authority is illegitimate and their power is null and void in your presence. They look at you, expecting the emotional reaction they need to feed on, and instead, they are met with the profound, unshakable peace of someone who is seated in heavenly places. This terrifies them. It's like a corrupt lawyer screaming at a judge who simply sits there, unmoved, because the verdict has already been decided. Their panic is the realization that they can no longer control the narrative. Your silence is now a spiritual statement of power they cannot argue with, and they are afraid to get close because they fear the unspoken judgment it contains. They used to believe your spirituality was a weakness, a quaint little hobby. They may have mocked your faith or dismissed your prayers as wishful thinking. They saw your connection to God as a crutch, something they could easily undermine with logic or cynicism. In their blindness, they had no concept of the true power you were wielding. The mark of God on your life has amplified your connection to the throne room. It has given you a direct line that bypasses all enemy interference. Now, when you pray, you are not just speaking words, you are launching spiritual ordinances. You are dispatching angelic assignments. You are executing the will of heaven on earth. And they feel the effects physically. This is the truth they will never admit. When you pray for protection, their plans against you mysteriously crumble. When you bind their manipulative words, they find themselves tongue-tied and confused in your presence. When you ask God to cover you, they feel a tangible weakening in their own energy, as if their power source is being shorted out. Their recent fatigue, their sudden bad luck, the way their schemes fall apart, it is a direct consequence of your prayer life. Their panic is rooted in a deep primal fear of an unseen power that is actively dismantling their kingdom from a distance. They are afraid to get close because they have begun to associate your presence with their own sudden weakness and failure. They don't understand the mechanics of it, but their spirit knows you are dangerous to them on a level they cannot comprehend or combat. You have prayed for protection, for guidance, for deliverance. You have felt, in faith, that you are not alone, but you have been operating mostly on trust, unable to see the full reality of your spiritual entourage with your physical eyes. You walk by faith, not by sight. They, however, walk by a different kind of sight. Entities of darkness and the people they influence have a perception tuned to the spiritual realm. And the mark of God on you acts as a heavenly beacon, attracting a level of angelic protection that is now impossible for them to ignore. What they see when they look at you is not just one person. They see the bodyguards. They see the towering silent sentinels standing at your side. They see the warrior angels that God has assigned to your destiny. While you see an empty room, they see a space crowded with formidable light-bearing beings whose very presence is a threat. This is why they hesitate. This is why their plans are thwarted. They might be arrogant enough to challenge a lone sheep, but they are not foolish enough to charge into a garrison of lions. Their panic is the shock of a bully who corners a kid on the playground, only to see his 7-foot-tall older brother step out from behind the corner. They are utterly outmatched, and they know it. They are afraid to get close to you because they would have to go through your heavenly security detail first, and that is a fight they are guaranteed to lose. Their strategy relies on leaving spiritual wounds. They want you to live in bitterness, anger, and unforgiveness. Why? Because an unforgiving heart is an open door for demonic influence. Your resentment acts as a spiritual tether, keeping you connected to them and allowing them to continue feeding off your pain long after the initial offense. They throw darts of betrayal and disrespect, expecting them to fester into poison that weakens you from the inside. But the mark of God on your soul has infused you with the supernatural grace of your Father. You have learned the divine technology of forgiveness. This doesn't mean you forget or trust them again. No, it means you make a conscious choice to release the debt, to hand the case over to the high courts of heaven, and to cut the energetic cord of bitterness. When you forgive them, truly forgive them from your spirit, you neutralize their poison. The curse they intended for you is rendered null and void. The spiritual foothold they were counting on crumbles to dust. Their panic is the utter confusion of an assassin who watches his victim drink a vial of poison, only to see them become healthier and stronger. It defies all the laws of their dark kingdom. They don't understand how you can let go of the pain they worked so hard to inflict. They are afraid to get close because your forgiveness is a spiritual anomaly that their programming cannot compute. It is a divine countermeasure that short-circuits their entire strategy of long-term torment. Every chosen one is marked with a purpose. Your destiny is not just a path, it is a source of brilliant, high-frequency light. Before your awakening, that light may have been a soft glow, still veiled by your own doubts, fears, and unhealed trauma. They were comfortable around that softer light. They could even try to dim it or contain it. But every trial you have overcome, every chain you have broken, every step you have taken in alignment with God's will has turned that glow into a blazing spotlight. The mark of God on you is inextricably linked to your divine assignment. As you begin to walk more fully in your purpose, you begin to radiate a spiritual light that is physically painful for beings of darkness to behold. This is why they can't look you in the eye. This is why they squint and turn away from your success, your joy, your peace, your progress on your divine path. It is a blinding indictment of their own allegiance to darkness. It exposes their misery and highlights their failure. Their panic is the instinct of a creature of the night caught in the high beams of an oncoming truck. There is nowhere to hide. They are afraid to get close, not just out of fear of being attacked, but out of the sheer agonizing pain of being exposed by the light of a destiny they tried and failed to extinguish. So feel their panic, chosen one, and let it be your confirmation. Let their fear be the sign that you are walking in your rightful authority. You do not need to raise your voice or lift a finger. The mark of God upon you is your shield, your weapon, and your verdict. It is a passive, permanent, and powerful rebuke to all the forces of darkness. They are afraid of you because they are afraid of the one who sealed you. You are not just protected, you are divine property. You are not just calm. You are a carrier of holy fire. You are not just a person on a journey. You are a warrior with an angelic escort. Embrace this truth. Walk in this authority. Let your light shine without apology, knowing that the fear in their eyes is nothing more than the shadow they cast as they flee from the magnificent glory of God that rests upon you. If this word has resonated deep within your spirit, then seal it with action. Your engagement helps push this light further into the world. Like this video to affirm its truth. Share it with another warrior who needs this reminder. And I want to hear your testimony. Have you felt this shift? Have you noticed their sudden hesitation or fear? Let us know. Your experience gives strength to others. And of course, subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. This is more than a community. It's a spiritual army rising. Let us continue to walk in this power together. God bless you.